already gone with BRICS. Already gone. Egypt, Afghanistan, Algeria, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Nicaragua, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Senegal, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates, Argentina, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Zimbabwe, Iraq. The one that I loved was the United Kingdom. They've already gone. Not the City of London, the United Kingdom. And then those that are waiting to be entered into BRICS are Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Bolivia, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, Azerbaijan, Mongolia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Turkey, and my favourite, Germany. Because if Germany goes, that's the end of the EU, because it was only the United Kingdom and Germany that ever put in, the rest took out.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie.
Journalists on the way back from China aboard the presidential plane that he apparently had some kind of an epiphany while he was in China. It sounds like he's now saying that Europe really doesn't have to ride shotgun alongside Washington every time that Washington decides to load up the warmobile and speed down the regime change highway.
The paradox would be that, overcome with panic, we believe we're just Americans followers. The question Europeans need to answer: is it in our interest to accelerate a crisis on Taiwan? No. The worst thing would be to think that we Europeans must become followers on this topic and take our cue from the US agenda and the Chinese overreaction.
So Macron just figured out, apparently, that France can have a foreign policy that's independent and not aligned with either the East or the West. Not sure how he managed to miss that lesson earlier, since Macron claims to be a big admirer of former French President Charles de Gaulle, who kept France out of NATO, built a relationship with Moscow, and kicked the Americans out of France when they wanted to stick around indefinitely after the Second World War, like they have in Germany. It's just too bad Macron didn't have that lesson at top of mind prior to the Ukraine conflict popping off. He may have been able to convince his European counterparts not to jump off an economic cliff and harm their own energy supply and industry just because the US wanted them to, mistakenly buying into this idea that it would bring the Russian economy to its knees, as French Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire said. Macron said that European nations should also reduce their dependence on the, quote, extraterritoriality of the US dollar and avoid becoming, quote, vassals. Macron's newfound concern about U.S. economic overreach might have something to do with the potentially devastating impact on Europe of Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, particularly on European industry, as Macron basically begged U.S. lawmakers to recognize during his visit to Washington last December.
What has happened in recent months is a challenge for us, because we are starting to have differences on energy issues, and the cost of the war in Ukraine is not the same in Europe and in the United States. But most importantly, the choices that have been made, for which I share the goals, in particular the Inflation Reduction Act or the CHIPS Act, are choices that will split the West.
Macron's renewed interest in French strategic autonomy might also have something to do with the fact that China sent him off with a really nice parting gift of a massive new deal. Beijing has agreed to buy 160 new commercial aircraft from the French headquartered European aerospace conglomerate Airbus, whose Chinese production is also now set to double with a second assembly line in Tianjin. That also moves Airbus ahead of its American rival Boeing in China and gives Europe a major new advantage in that fierce economic competitive duopoly, which is really just an extension of US and European interests, since Boeing and Airbus are so economically critical. So heading home with this new gift from China for the French economy at a time when the US side has given Europe a string of headaches and empty promises, it's not hard to imagine why Macron might suddenly be singing the praises of keeping his geopolitical dating options open.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the Akim that's pushing his truth out the four corners of the earth and all truth, sincerity, and in diligence. Shalom. All right, man. I played the clips. You seen the clips that I just played. You know, it was really signifying that, you know, America's power structure is falling. All right, the beast will hate the whore. Okay, and all his allies will turn on them. We'll turn on America. All right, the beast being what? NATO and the EU, and we have done lessons on that. I have done lessons on that. Various different brothers have done lessons on who's the beast. You know, because ancient pastime in the time of the pagan Roman Empire, they was all together. But now in this this kingdom, this queendom, that remained of the fourth, right? They all divided. Okay. So look, check this out. I'm gonna just read this article, and he's gonna go into, man, how we're seeing prophecy, play out before our eyes. Look, it says Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban considers the U.S. as one of his country's top adversaries. So he considers U.S. to be one of his top adversaries, but this is crazy because they're all part of the same organization here. They all in conglomerate and in bed with each other, right? They all in confederate with each other. It says, according to a leaked assessment by Central Intelligence, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. So some documents just so happen to leak out, some documents that, that shit been like, it's kind of crazy how these documents just leak out to kick up dust, right? I believe this is all planned, okay? The Wall Street Journal reported that the assessment was part of a larger trove of leaked documents that provided details about ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. According to the March 2nd CIA update, Orban's inclusion of the U.S. as a top adversary in a February 22nd political strategy meeting constitutes an escalation of the level of anti-American rhetoric. The CIA note listed the U.S. Embassy in Budapest as the source of the information. You see? Rising the possibility of Washington keeping tabs on the ruling party's meeting and its allies in general. It has also underscored the depth of a long-time rift between U.S. and Hungary, with the latter increasing defending its links with Russia and China, despite being a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So Hungary, and what? Hungary and the U.S., like I said, they in confederate with each other, okay? They all part of the same organization here, but you got what? Division amongst them, all right? It says while the Wall Street Journal was unable to independently authenticate the CIA assessment and the rest of the leaked documents, it said they contained enough detail to give them credibility. But the U.S. Department of Defense officials say some of the documents appear to have been altered, of course. In a statement, the U.S. Department of State said that both the Department of Defense and American intelligence agencies were reviewing and assessing the authenticity of the leaked documents. And, it's just like, if this is all planned, Speaking as a man, this is all planned, which we can see. This is all planned, man. It's all planned. It's all through the spirit and power of the Lord, first and foremost, because it's going to be division amongst, this kingdom, man, in order for prophecy to play out. Okay. It says U.S. officials are engaging with allies and partners of high levels over this, including, and then I seen a clip, one of the, I guess state representative says that we're taking this very seriously, okay? Including reassured them of our commitment to safeguarding intelligence and fidelity to our security partnership. As a matter of principle, intelligence matters like collection methods are not something we would ever talk about publicly, the statement said. Orban himself did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Meanwhile, a representative of the U.S. Embassy in Budapest could not be reached. Check this out. Since the Budapest strengthens Eastern ties with Western links, as Western links fray, right? So look, check this out. It says, since the onset of the Russian-Ukraine war in February 22, Hungary has expressed broad skepticism of the West priority. So it's like, bro, something ain't right. Like, so Hungary, which would be a NATO member, says what, man? He's saying something ain't right about these niggas over there in the West. Something ain't right about the U.S., man. Right? Because what? The skirt of the U.S., the skirt of America, the skirt of Babylon is being lifted up, man. Okay? It says, these include weaning off dependence on Russia energy and sending military aid to Ukraine. It's like, man, what the hell going on right here, man? However, the rhetoric in February 22nd, Fidesz meeting shows the extent of rift between Budapest and Washington. This is because Hungary refuses to follow the West in its virtual signaling, choosing to prioritize its national interests, right? So listen, man, we don't have to do what you say, basically. The same thing that France is doing, like the clip that you just watched. Hey, man, he like, looks, man, every time something go down, man, we don't have to, jump to the U.S. We don't have to move the way they move, man. This is the beast turning to hate the whore, man, okay? It says, choosing to prioritize its national interests as its links with the West are fraying. So let's just see if my phone gonna be trash or not. If we can look it up. Fraying, right? No, what the hell is that? Unraveling, fray, right? It says, this is the definition right here. It says unravel or become worn at the edge, typically through constant rubbing. Right? So the U.S. is rubbing these people, these other, EU members and NATO members wrong, man. The way that they move and the way that they dictate and the way that they, calling shots, they're pissing them off, okay? It says during the April 11th speech in Russia capital, it says, as the links, back right here, it says, as the links with the West are fraying, Hungary is securing new ties with Russia and China, okay? BRICS nations, huh? Going to what? Because Russia and China are part of the BRICS nations. You see? All right. It says during April 11th speech, the Russian capital, Moscow, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter, I'm not even going to try to say that word, Zizjarto, confirmed a new energy deal with the Kremlin, huh? Under the new deal, Budapest can import volumes of Russian gas beyond the limits agreed to in a long-term contract signed last year. Okay? Anti-Russian sanctions killing EU economy. Orban said this, right? This is an article that came out, I believe, last summer. Yeah, I remember that. It came out last summer, right? Dude basically saying, like, look, man, you killing the economy, man. Okay? You killing the EU economy. God damn it. All right, look, it says, aside from Moscow, Hungary is also bolstering ties with China. It has also opposed Western efforts to recruit in a collective against Beijing, which has paid off for Budapest. Earlier in 2023, China top diplomat Wang Yi met with Orban admin U.S. concerns over growing Chinese investments in the country. Hungary was the first nation in the European Union to sign an infrastructure development memorandum with China, in line with the latter's Belt and Road Initiative. Am I saying that right? Initiative. Is that right? It says oh damn, it's trash. It says initiative. There it is. In turn, Beijing financed and built a rail line connecting Hungary to Serbia. Aside from this, Hungary has hosted Huawei Technologies' largest supply center outside of China, despite U.S. protestations. It has also expelled from the Central European University in Budapest, funding by globalist billionaire George Soros. In place of CEU, Orban agreed to host Shanghai's based Fundu University. The Central European nation pivots towards China paid off. In one example, Chinese battery maker contemporary Amperex Technology Company Ltd announced the constitution of a 7 billion battery factory in Hungary's second largest city of Debrecen. So this basically shows how America's allies is turning against them, just like how you was watching the clip. The first clip goes into these nations that went with BRICS and these other nations that's waiting to go into BRICS, like for one. Case in point, France and Germany, which are what? Part of the NATO, okay? You see? And that's how you know prophecy is moving right along, man, all right? Because, hey, man, these countries are really dropping the dollar, man. Nobody's really wants to deal with America no more, man. America's been policing the world through the petrodollar, the Federal Reserve currency. But now what? They got a new currency and you got to understand, BRICS, these EU, these NATO members and EU members, you know, they're looking to join BRICS, man, which is gonna do what, man? In turns, you know, weaken America, man. But you gotta understand that the elites has no allegiance to America. It just used America as the whore that's seated up on the beast, because what? The whore, which is America, you know, is the biggest funder towards the NATO, man. Okay? You see? So let's just go to it. First of all, let's just get this in Matthew 12 and this is prophecy, bro. This is Matthew 12 and 35. It says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolate, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's big division that we just read about, okay? Because the BRICS nations are doing what? Establishing a new currency that, you know, that's going to plummet and destroy the American dollar. Okay? See, these other countries are looking out for themselves now, you know, because the decisions that America is making is crippling their economy. All right? Going into what? The image, Daniel's the second chapter, where you're going to have, you know, some part, the iron mixed with miry clay, some partly strong, some weak, some strong, some weak, okay? That's what it's going into, man. All right, we seeing this happening right before our eyes in our lifetime. It's going to be a recession this year, man, Lord willing, all right? The economy will crash this year, Lord willing, okay? There's too many articles coming out, man. It ain't like, it's everywhere you turn, it's going into, you know, how there's going to be a recession or the collapse of the economy, the financial system going to collapse. Man, they just introduced and told you it was going to be the new digital currency is named Unicorn, UMU, the Universal Monetary Unit. All right, this is happening before our eyes, man. Okay, so let's go get real quick. Revelations 17. I'm going to start at 1. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So this is the judgment of a whore, right? That sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth had been made drunk with the wine of a fornication. Because all these nations round about have taken on, you know, America's political, you know, not for us the religion wise, I won't say that, but you got, you know, America's, you know, democracy and bullshit and religious, you know, standpoints is off in some of these countries, but as far as this democracy and the way how they do things, hey, America has made all the nations of the earth, drunk of her wine of her fornication, man. Okay, the way how they do things, the morality of this place is, has infected other places. You know what I mean? America come in acting like they're going to, help their economy, but they have to go by what America wants them to go by, and, deal the way they want them to deal, which in turns what brings death and confusion in their economy, man. Okay. So when you go down, so let me read that again. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had 7 vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So this is the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters, right? Well, man, you can't just pass none of this up, man. It says, so he carried me, verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, man. And that goes the word scarlet, which goes back to the word red, which is always attached to Esau, Edom. It says full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now that's that beast, man. That's the beast, which is the NATO and the EU, man. Okay. And the woman was arrayed in purple. All right. Going into purple, which, going in the sense of royalty. Okay. Because America is the land that's looked at to be the place that you want to be. Everybody wants to come to America, the land of the free. It says a scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones, pearls having gold and cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And that's America. Verse 5. It says upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So this whore name is Babylon, okay? So it's not talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon was taken down by the Medo-Persians, all right? So let's go to, matter of fact, let's just prove it, bro. I don't want to just leave nothing out. I don't want to just, let's go to Daniel's 5. This is Daniel's 5 and 30. It says, and that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. So, okay, Darius the Mede took the kingdom. So that's how ancient Babylon went down. So we're talking about a different Babylon, right? So let's go back to Revelation 17 and start at 15. It says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are people and multitude and nations and tongues. So it says what? The water which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, right? Are people, multitudes and nations and tongues, okay? So it says that the whore sitteth on many waters. So who is it talking about? It's talking about ancient Babylon. All right, it's not ancient Babylon. It's talking about Babylon, a future Babylon, which is America. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 51 and 13. I'm gonna start at 12. It says, set up a standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes. For Yahweh had both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwells upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Okay? Covetousness. So the end is come for Babylon, man. All right? That sitteth upon many waters. All right? So out of this beast, out of the waters, arose a nation of people, which are the Edomites, which is, trickling on down to who, man? Esau, Edom, right? Which goes into what, man? America, okay? So the whore, which is America, that sitteth upon the beast, right? Verse 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? These shall hate the whore. Right, the NATO and the EU, the 10 horns, going to the EU, the NATO, which would be the seven heads, right? So it says, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So all America's allies will turn on her and shoot thermonuclear missiles over here. For the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, Babylon, right? Which reigneth over the kings over the earth, over the kings of the earth. So that great city, which is Babylon, right, is going to be what? Burned by thermonuclear missiles, because all America's allies will turn on her. Okay? This is Obadiah, verse 7 in the NLT. Well, I hope it showed like that. In the NLT, it says, all your allies will turn against you. And look, hold up. Matter of fact, let me read this up here. This is Obadiah 1, verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathens. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. So this is the word against and concerning Edom, right? Verse 7. All thy men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a womb under thee. There is none understanding in him. So everybody that's at peace with America, that's in bed with America, that's allies with America, is going to turn on America, because America is full of shit, man. Okay, America has played everybody. Okay, the elites of this world just used America as a pawn to do the dirty work, man. The elites don't have no allegiance to America. Okay, so all these nations that you see that's feeling like, hey man, we don't have to, follow after America with everything that they do. Or, hey, man, I don't have to do this. Or looking at America side eye is because this is prophecy. All right. And we seeing it play right before our eyes, man. All right. So once they establish this new currency, man, and all these nations walk away from the dollar, America you're gonna see some hyperinflation in America, bro. Which we probably will 100. I ain't gonna say 100%, man. I don't want to sound like I'm just saying, just being rash at the mouth. Lord willing, we see a hyperinflation this year, bro, and the death of the dollar happen right before our eyes. So with that, man, Lord willing, you're edified. I'm gonna say shalom.